Something happens in your life today. It feels terrible. You call it a disaster. You call it the worst thing. You cry, you panic, you ask why. But what if that disaster is quietly building something you cannot see yet? What if the thing breaking you right now is actually saving you? This is the story of a farmer named Rohan, and everything he lost and everything he gained, and why he never called anything good or bad. Rohan lived in a small village surrounded by wheat fields and mango trees. His house was simple. His life was simple. He had a wife, a strong young son, a small piece of land, and one horse. That horse was not just an animal to Rohan. Rohan had raised him since he was a young colt. That horse had worked beside Rohan through every season, through drought, through heavy rain, through hard harvests and good ones. That horse was family, and the whole village knew it. One day, a wealthy merchant came to the village. He saw the horse, and his eyes went wide. He offered Rohan a sack of gold coins, enough money to feed his family for years. The villagers gathered around and whispered excitedly, "Take it, Rohan. This is your big chance." Rohan shook his head quietly. "This horse is not for sale." The merchant raised his offer, then raised it again. Rohan stood firm. The merchant left empty-handed. The villagers shook their heads. "What a fool," they said. "He had one big chance and threw it away. He will be poor forever now." Rohan said nothing. He returned to his field and continued working. 3 days later, the horse was gone. The stable door was open. The rope was untied. No footprints, no sign. Rohan and his son searched everywhere: fields, riverbank, forest, neighboring villages. Nothing. The villagers crossed their arms. "We told him so. He should have taken the money. Now he has nothing. No horse, no gold. What a terrible loss." That evening, Rohan's son sat beside his father with heavy eyes. "How are you so calm?" the son asked. "We lost everything." Rohan placed his hand on his son's shoulder. "We do not know that yet," Rohan said quietly. "What looks like a loss today may not be a loss tomorrow. Only time will tell." The son did not understand, but he trusted his father. 1 week later, before sunrise, the son heard hooves outside. He ran out. The horse had returned, and behind him walked 5 wild horses, strong, untamed, magnificent. The village erupted. "Rohan is the luckiest man alive. 6 horses! He will be richer than the merchant himself." Rohan smiled softly. "Do not celebrate too quickly. We do not know what this will bring yet." The next morning, the son tried to ride one of the wild horses. The horse threw him violently to the ground. A sharp crack, his leg broken in 2 places. The villagers shook their heads again. Those wild horses brought nothing but trouble. His greed cost his son dearly. The son lay in pain, looking at his father. Was this also meant to happen? Rohan sat beside him calmly. The same rain that floods the valley also waters the forest. Do not judge this moment either. Only time will tell. 2 weeks later, soldiers rode into the village. War had broken out. Every able-bodied young man was being taken immediately, no exceptions. One by one, the young men of the village were pulled away. Mothers wept. Fathers stood frozen. The soldiers came to Rohan's door. They saw his son lying on a cot with his leg wrapped in splints. They shook their heads and moved on. "This one is useless to us." Months passed. The war ended. Of the young men taken from that village, most never came back. Families who had laughed at Rohan now grieved for sons they would never see again. And Rohan's son sat quietly, healing under an old tree, alive. The son looked at his father with completely different eyes. "Every time I thought it was ending," the son said slowly, "it was actually beginning something new." Rohan nodded. Never celebrate too quickly. Never grieve too deeply. The full picture of your life is always bigger than the single moment you were standing in. My friend, think about your own life right now. Something that felt like the end. A job lost, a relationship broken, the door slammed shut. And then later, quietly, something better appeared through a different door. You could not see it in that moment, but it was already being built for you. Never call it a disaster. You do not know the full story yet.